Now, there's a lot of concerns that the Russia-Ukraine war could disrupt global neon gas supply. Why is neon so crucial to the semiconductor industry?
So neon is 0.0018% of the air by volume. So it takes a lot of energy to actually collect enough the neon out of the air and to purify it so that it can be used in a semiconductor laser is even more specialized. It requires a lot of cryogenic separation, and not everybody has the capability or the know-how. And the volume is very small. And some people have asked me, well, gee, there's not that much neon that's used. I mean, what is it, 667 million liters that is being used that we forecasted for 2021. That's very small compared to an industrial gas that's used elsewhere, but it's critical gas for the semiconductor industry. And because it's small, not everybody wants to get into that business in terms of the volumes. So neon is used for special deep UV lasers that are required for manufacturing the majority of all high-end semiconductor chips. Without these laser gases, you basically would interrupt production of chip making. So it's very critical. And a lot of the neon that is coming into the world, into the semiconductor industry, is coming through Russia to Ukraine. The Ukrainians have expertise in purifying the neon. And so when this war broke out and Ukraine was affected, especially those areas of Mariupol and Odessa, those are the two main areas where purification of neon happened. So yes, there's been an interruption of supply. The chip makers are not complaining too loudly yet, but many of the smaller ones that don't have as much inventory are starting to worry because the war has been carrying on now we're going on almost a month now.
How are Russia and Ukraine involved in neon supply and semiconductor production, respectively?
To our understanding, there is no major chip manufacturing that goes on there. All of the product that I was talking about in terms of neon, as well as some of the rare gases, they are exported from there and used all over the world. We estimate about 40 to 50% of the semiconductors demand is coming out of Ukraine. So it's potentially a very big problem. We have heard many companies really trying to mitigate any kind of future problem by buying in excess, building their inventory, and it creates even more of a supply chain issue. Here's how Russia is involved in that. Russia, from steel making, comes a lot of air separation, or shall I say, air separation is required by steel making. And in doing the air separation, that is where a lot of these rare gases come from. There are other industries that require air separation, but steel making is the largest, requires the largest volume. And so that is why both Russia and China are the two largest producing regions of rare gas, neon, as well as krypton and xenon. So that is how Russia is involved. They do not purify the gas, but the Ukraine does. And that is how the industry has become so connected to the Ukraine, is through their very highly purified rare gases. So what happens is the steelmaker requires air separation. There's a capture unit that will pull out the gas that has the neon in it. It will then get shipped to the purifier that will purify it further and separate out the rare gases from each other. And then it gets shipped to other gas companies for distribution, typically. And so there are companies in the United States, as well as those in Asia, that are very dependent on that gas that comes from the Ukraine. But the very highest point of the supply chain is the air separation, which is located in Russia.